Hello everyone, this is Ms. White. I am making this video for students that need help with their IEEE robot sketches in Onshape. So we will be using these plans. So this is the top view of the 3D printed robot. This is the bottom view of the 3D printed robot. In this particular video, we will be looking at this sheet right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the general outline of the robot. I'll go over some of these dimensions, and then I will, as soon as we see it, I will extrude the robot, and then I will shell it out so that it becomes hollow. Okay, so again, we are working with sheet 3 initially, and we're going to go ahead and put in a general outline, and I'll explain why I am not going to put in all of these dimensions. Okay, so here I've already created a sketch on my top plane. You can see that I have hidden the front and the right planes. We don't need that. And I have my construction lines. Also, make sure that your units are in inches. Everything else can stay the same. All right, so I will edit sketch 1. I'm going to put in a general outline. And this doesn't have to be exact because we're going to put some dimensions in. And we're going to also put in some constraints. So you can see this is kind of taking shape, but it's a little raggedy. That's all right. I'm going to fix it. So let me zoom in. You see that here it looks like those points meet up a little bit, but as I zoom in, they do not. I'm going to click on each one of those points, and then I'm going to make them coincident so that they can touch. Okay, so looking at some of these dimensions, the overall width is going to be 6 inches. The overall height is going to be 3 7/16 of an inch. And then I am going to put in this back wall right here, this front wall right here, and then I'll put in 2 of these. Okay, so okay, that's giving me an angle, and that's because one of these lines is not parallel to the other. So I will make those parallel. I'm going to make sure those 2 are parallel. I'm going to make both of these lines vertical. And I'm also going to make them coincident so that they can move at the same time. And I'm also going to make them equal because they should have the same dimension. I'm going to do the same thing with these 2 lines. So I'm going to make them equal, and I'm going to make them coincident. Okay. The overall height Okay, and let me just double check on this. I'm just cleaning this up a little bit. Okay, so this is 2 3/4 inches, and this is 2 inches. Okay, so let me zoom to fit everything. And after I put this in, I will explain something. So this one, okay. Now I'm not going to put a dimension in for this line because it's already assumed that if the total height is 3 7/16 and this is 2 13/16, and also if these two lines are equal, that means that I don't need to put in the dimension for that line or that line. It's going to be split between whatever left over after I subtract this from here. Okay, and likewise with this line right here, the overall width is 6 inches. So if I have 2.75 here and I have 2 right here, then it's going to be assumed that that's going to be 1.25. Okay, so I'm going to put in a few more constraints. So these two lines should be symmetric. And let's see, what else? I think all we need is for this to be tied to something. So I'm going to make this back wall coincident with my vertical construction line. And then everything turns black. Let me clean this up a little because everyone knows that Ms. White hates raggedy looking sketches. So I'm going to move this up a little bit because I have this construction line right there. And that's it for that. So after we save that, we're going to extrude this, and we need to look for how tall that extrusion must be. So here, if we're looking at the robot from the left, it says that the overall height is going to be 1 3/16 of an inch. Okay, what else will we need? Let's see. I'm going to shell the robot, and this says that the walls should be 3/32 of an inch, and it states that somewhere else as well. It's probably on another sketch, but or on another drawing. So I will extrude and then I will shell. Okay, so I'm going to click on the robot and I'm going to use my extrude tool. Again, we are going to extrude to 1 3/16. And I want to call something to your attention. So I'm going to look at the isometric view. Actually, let me see, what view do I want to look at? Okay. So this says that my robot is going to be extruded upward, but I want it to be extruded downward. So I'm going to change the direction of that arrow. And when I do the shell, you all will see why. Okay, so looking at my isometric view, you can see that my robot has been extruded. I'm going to come to my bottom view, and that's what I want to shell. And I'm going to show the bottom view because that's what we see on this plan right here. So if we go here, it's our bottom view that is hollow. Okay, so I'll click on my shell tool. You can see that it's already shelled out. We don't want the default thickness. Again, the thickness that we want is 3/32 of an inch. Okay, so that is it for this video. So we did the general outline of the robot, we've extruded, and we've created a shell. I will, in the next video, I will go over, let's see, detail A. And what else do we have here? And I'll do detail B as well. So detail A, this is for the skids for our robot. These would be the back feet that the robot will sit on as it's walking. And detail B, this will be a wire access hole. And this pocket right here is for the motor to sit in. And that angle is needed for the movement of the legs. So I'll do that in the next video. If there are any questions, please ask.